Webrazı izleyicileri merhabalar. Bir canlı yayın ile karşınızdayız. Deloitte firmasını bilirsiniz. Dünyada hemen hemen bütün pazarlar ve özellikle dijital pazarlarla ilgili araştırmalar yayınlıyor ve oldukça da ilgi çekiyor bu araştırmalar, oradan elde edilen sonuçlar. Bir de öngörü raporları var. Her yıl değişik kategorilerde öngörü raporu yayınlıyor Deloitte. Geçtiğimiz Ocak ayında da Technology, Media and Telecommunications Predictions adı verilen 2014 öngörülerinin yer aldığı bir rapor yayınlamıştı. Raporu Webrazi'de paylaştık sizlerle. Bundan böyle de tabii ki Deloitte ile ilgili, onların araştırmaları ile ilgili haberleri de zaten görüyor olacaksınız. Deloitte'un bu TMT kısaltılmış adıyla TMT raporunu anlatmak üzere bugün canlı yayınımızda ofisimizde raporun yazarlarından Duncan Stewart ile birlikteyiz. Duncan'a bu raporda çok ilginç noktalar var, ilginç tespitler de var. Onları soracağız, görüşlerini alacağız. Bu arada belirteyim, soru sormak isterseniz Duncan'a Webrazi'yi mention ederek bir tweet atın. Biz burada arkadaşlarla takip edip kendisine bu soruları ileteceğiz. Duncan, hello, welcome. It's nice to see you here. And it was your third time in Webrazi office, I guess.
I think so, yes. Fourth year in Istanbul, third year for Webrazi.
Third year. Ara ara kısa tercümeler de yapacağım. Üçüncü Webrazi ofisindeki üçüncü canlı yayına katılışı Duncan'ın, Türkiye'de ise dördüncü bulunuşu. Okay, I made a short introduction to the report, which is published in last January, I believe, and this is your 13th report.
Deloitte's 13th report.
Deloitte.
I've been working on the report for 7 years now.
So it's quite long.
Yes.
And let me start with the basic points. Actually, it's about the predictions of Deloitte for 2014. Can we start with the basic points, basic predictions or categories?
Well, there's technology, there's media, there's telecommunications. There's 16 predictions across all of them. It's difficult to say, which one or two we should focus on. I think I'll start actually with one slide that I want to talk to. I have to go through a few here, but I want to start off with maybe this idea, not this one. I'm going to skip through this one slide. In 2004, globally, sales of personal computers, smartphones, gaming consoles, TV sets, and tablets were about $250 billion worldwide in 2004. In 2014, they will be $768 billion. That's 3 times bigger in 10 years. That's a growth rate of 12% per year. And you can just look at the slide. We have never seen growth like that before. And the other thing is, it's about to come to an end. The 10 years of growth in hardware is slowing dramatically. From 12% growth, we are buying cell phones with a longer replacement cycle, and the growth rate is dropping to about 0% by 2018.
It is not only mobile device, all
TV sets, personal computers, smartphones, tablets, gaming consoles added together. They are getting cheaper. People are buying at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona last week. The exciting device wasn't a $700 smartphone. It was a $70 smartphone. As people move down market to cheaper devices, we are seeing this change in the growth rate.
Let me do a short translation. Duncan, 2004'ten bu yana elektronik cihazlardaki satış rakamlarının çok büyük oranlarda artış gösterdiğini, ancak son yıllarda bu artışın yavaşladığını söylüyor. 2014 sonu itibariyle yaklaşık 768 milyar cihazın satılmış olacağını söylüyor. Oradan da geçtiğimiz hafta gerçekleşen Mobil Dünya Kongresi ile ilgili tespitlerini alacağız kendisinden. I was also in the Mobile World Congress and you were there.
No, my colleague Paulie was there.
But you have sort of impressions about what's going on.
Yes.
During the show. Some criticized it. Okay, some saw it as a very successful, very big, very money-generating event, but some said that it's actually they were very short. It was very short in terms of innovation. Do you agree with that?
Yes, and that's actually one of the stories that drives this. When you look at this slide, people used to buy a new smartphone every 18 months. Now they buy a new smartphone every 2 years. This is US data. Why? Because the rate of innovation is much slower than it used to be. The early days, the difference between the first iPhone and the second iPhone, between the first Samsung Galaxy and the second, it was a big jump in performance every year. Now, as the new phones come out, the rate of innovation is much lower than it was 5 years ago. Now, that's really nobody's fault. Yeah. When you have a 1 megapixel camera, a 5 megapixel camera is much better. And a 25 megapixel camera is better still. But nobody needs a 125 megapixel camera. So it gets harder and harder to innovate on these form factors.
2007 yılında, let me introduce what you said. 2007 yılında insanlar ortalama 16 ayda bir akıllı telefonlarını değiştiriyorlarmış diyor Duncan. Ancak 2014'e gelindiğinde bu süre 2 yıla 24 aya yükselmiş. Bunun nedeni de artık akıllı cihazlarda ya da genelde elektronik cihazlarda inovasyon hızının yavaşlaması. Bunu ben Dünya Mobil Kongresi hani çok ışıltılı, çok büyük, çok zengin bir gösteriydi. Ancak inovasyon anlamında çok da şaşırtıcı şeyler yoktu değil mi? Şeklindeki sorumun üzerine söyledi Duncan. Bunda da bu inovasyonun yavaşlamasında da kimsenin suçu yok diyor. Okay, please.
So that was that one.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that many people look at is if we aren't seeing growth in smartphones, if we aren't seeing as much growth in PCs and TV sets, are we going to start seeing new categories like wearable computers? So one of our predictions for 2014 is that we will see some good growth in the smart glass market. We see about 4 million units selling in 2014 at $500 each for a $2 billion market in smart glasses in 2014.
Only smart glasses, but there are some other wearables as well.
That's right, but let's stay with glasses for the moment. Okay. We think glasses are the bigger one, but I want to make a difference here. When we look at the audience out there, almost everybody has a TV set. Almost everybody will have a computer. Almost everybody will have a smartphone, and I bet a lot of them have tablets. What percent of people ever will buy smart glasses? We believe it might be 10%, it might be 20%, but it will not be 100%. When we look at these devices, you can't watch TV on them. It's not high contrast enough for TV. You wouldn't want to watch Galatasaray play. The ball is too small. It's not good for a football game. They cost a lot of money. This is not a 60 or 70 Turkish lira device. They don't let you get rid of your smartphone. They only work with the smartphone beside them. We think that for all of these reasons, this is not a mass product. It is instead a mass niche. It's still big. It's still multi-billion. But where I think it gets interesting is the idea of smart glasses for smart workers. The consumer market for smart glasses is not 100% of the audience. But picture a policeman wearing smart glasses, a doctor, a person in a factory driving around one of those forklift trucks. We think that the enterprise market could be 10 or even 100 times larger in dollar value than the consumer market for smart glasses.
Let me summarize. Giyilebilir teknolojilerden bahsediyor Duncan. Tabii ki yani 2014 ve bundan sonraki senelere ait herhangi bir teknoloji raporunda ya da öngörü raporunda giyilebilir teknolojiler çok yer tutacak her zaman. Mobil Dünya Kongresi'nde de bunu gördük. Akıllı gözlükler, giyilebilir dijital gözlüklerden bahsetti. Bu tip cihazların Duncan'ın söylediğine göre pazar %100'e yakın, akıllı telefonlarda olduğu gibi %100'e yakın bir pazar yaygınlığına ulaşması neredeyse imkansız. Büyük bir hacme ulaşacak pazar, ancak bütün akıllı iletişim cihazları içindeki payı bir niş olarak kalmaya devam edecek diyor Duncan. Okay. Bu arada özellikle de akıllı gözlüklerden unutmadan onu da ekleyeyim. Duncan söylediğine göre akıllı gözlüklerin kurumsal kullanımlarının son tüketici kullanımlarına kıyasla daha yaygın olma ihtimalinin üzerinde durdu. Okay, please go on.
Well, and so you talked about, so let's do our wrists here, let's see your watch, my watch.
It's
about the same size.
One function device.
But it's great because I can tell the time on it.
Yeah.
Could I read a newspaper article on this? No. Could I type a newspaper article on this? No. There's a problem with the smartwatch, and it's not about technology, it's about something that fits on your arm comfortably, like your watch or my watch, is really good for telling the time and really bad for watching video. Meanwhile, a device that is large enough to watch video or type on looks like you've tied a smartphone to your arm. We believe that very, very few people in 2014 or even over the long term will be interested in smartwatch. If the smart glasses are a mass niche, smartwatches are a niche.
All right. Actually, yeah, I agree with that. And I recall something about the glasses, smart glasses, back to your previous example. In the Mobile World Congress, we interviewed Metaio, the CEO of Metaio. Metaio is a German company who's actually focusing on the design and development and production of AR devices and solutions.
Augmented reality in general.
Exactly. And they do it in cooperation with mostly corporations, like you said. So there are really big opportunity over there. Just, I don't know, making the workers wear glasses, we can show you where to repair on a machine. So that might be an example. Metaio firmasından bahsettim. Bu artılmış gerçeklikle ilgili kurumsal çözümler üretiyor. Özellikle de fabrikalarda çalışan işçiler ve mühendisler için tamirattan tasarıma kadar kullanılabilen yazılım çözümleri bunlar ve ondan bahsettim biraz. Bu akıllı gözlüklerle entegre şekilde de bu Metaio'nun örneğin çözümleri ileride çok büyük bir pazarda yaratabilir. Okay, so interrupt, please continue.
Well, one of the other topics I have to skip ahead to is, well, I think we should touch on this. Less money for hardware, whether it's wearables or smartwatches or TV sets, means that there's more money for software, services, and content. Worldwide, by 2018, we see an additional 500 billion Turkish lira available for apps, for data plans with your phone company like Turkcell, or for content, for music, for movies, for television. So we think there's going to be a shift from the last 10 years were the decade of hardware. The next 10 years will be the decade of software, of services, and of content.
That brings me to the question of the role of the mobile operators in delivering those services. Do you think that they will increase the strength of their range over the electronic consumer market?
Well, what you want to look at is what the three things I just talked about.
Yeah.
Software, services, and content. For services, yes, mobile operators will continue to provide data, higher speed data, faster data, better coverage of data, both wireless and wireline. And that will continue to be a strong role worth a lot of money. when it comes to the software, the apps, we do not see the mobile operators as necessarily being the ones who deliver the apps. Sometimes they will, but they don't necessarily have to do it. With content, it appears that most of the mobile operators are not actually the ones who will deliver the content, the data, but the content agreement between the consumer and the content provider will probably be through people who are not carriers.
But they are the ones who decide on the prices.
That's right. Well, the price of the data, yes.
Data. So what do you think? I mean, for example, in the EU, as far as I know, the EU government is really pushing hard on the mobile operators to decrease the prices or the costs of, for example, roaming or the download data prices. Right. Do you think that this is going to be a trend all over the world, or it will just stay within the European Union?
Well, so the trend about roaming, we believe, will be a global trend. Costs of both voice roaming, text roaming, and data roaming, we believe there is global regulatory pressure to reduce those costs. In terms of the cost of data, if you are here in Istanbul and you have a Turkish data plan, the price you pay for data per megabyte is unlikely to change all that much. Regulators, by and large, are not worldwide looking at the price for data in your own network. That market tends to be relatively competitive. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about were phablets. These are phones that, big phones. So this is an example of what we see, the prediction. About 2/3 of the big phones will be a 5-inch screen, 5 to 5.1 inch. Only about 1 in 4 will be 5.1 to 5.9. 10% will be bigger. Now this is my phone, so I lost my phone in France. I bought a new phone, and so you see this one.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people think it's too big.
You're talking about your predictions in 2014.
2014. Yeah, okay. So I look at this and people say it's too big to talk on, it doesn't fit in your pants. But our prediction is that in 2014, phablets will be 25% of the world smartphone market.
Let me summarize.
Of course.
Phabletlere geçtik. Yani akıllı telefonla tablet arasında kalan ebat itibariyle hem telefon hem tablet olarak da kullanılabilen cihazların payının 2014'te çok hızlı bir şekilde artacağını tahmin ettiklerini söylüyor Duncan ve %25 gibi bir pazar payına ulaşacakmış mobil cihazların toplam pazarı içinde. May I ask you, why do you predict so?
Well, first of all, they're already selling very well in Asia Pacific. In Asia Pacific, phablets are already outselling portable computers and tablet computers combined. So very successful in Asia, very successful in India, and in the Mideast. Not so much in Turkey, not so much in Western Europe, not so much in North America. But globally, with 25% of the market, that's a $125 billion market. Why do people like them? They're good for texting, especially in Asian languages. If you are typing in Chinese, on the big screen, it's much easier than on a small screen. It's also much better for gaming. It's also much better for TV. If you want to watch video on your phone, the screen on this would be 3 times bigger than a 4-inch device.
So they will tolerate the pain of carrying such a big device.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How much of a pain? You know, you're a big, strong guy. I can carry.
Yeah, by the way, can I put it right down? I mean, in my back pocket.
Right here.
Well,
fits fine. No problem. I walk around all day. There you go.
All right.
I put it here.
Okay. So, okay, let me switch to another issue I just recalled. Okay, now we use smartphones for many things other than the basic services of making calls and texting. In your report, you made very interesting predictions about the texting market. Can you tell us about that? Because it's really interesting. You say that the text messaging will prevail forever and the market volume.
We didn't say forever.
Okay, for I don't know, for a long time I should say. Why? Why do you think so? Because we have several instant messaging apps which are really extremely popular, and you still insist that in your report that this text messaging will be there, but we're not sure about the money that those instant messaging apps will create.
So here's a screenshot of WhatsApp, my messaging on WhatsApp. Nice, it's great, it's a wonderful app. I use it all the time. When I have a data plan. When I land in Istanbul, which I did, and my wife was in the other side of the airport, she has no data plan, I have no data plan. How do I send her a message? I send her a text. Now, on WhatsApp, I send her 100 messages, I send her 1,000 messages, and it doesn't cost me anything. It's free, 99 cents after the first year. But each text, I'm lost, my wife is lost. How do I get her back? Would I pay a Turkish lira for one text? Would I pay it in Indonesia? Sure. The thing is, SMS volume is smaller than mobile instant messaging. Yes, mobile instant messaging is going like this, SMS is going like that. But the dollar value of all mobile instant messages for revenue is about $2 billion this year. The dollar value of all texting, SMS, is over 100 billion. It is 50 times bigger. Fewer messages, but more value.
Okay, then I know as a writer of the report for Deloitte, you cannot just comment on what should Facebook do. But this is the is an inescapable question. Do you believe that actually Facebook can monetize on this huge acquisition of WhatsApp for 16 plus $3 billion?
Let me rephrase your question. Duncan, if the mobile instant messaging market is only $2 billion a year, why would Facebook pay 8 times that much for only one company?
Yeah.
What are they, crazy?
Probably not.
Probably not. When you look at the monetization of mobile instant messaging, you have, text is easy. I send a text, I pay a Turkish lira. Mobile instant messaging has a couple of ways you could make money. One of them is I could have an app. WhatsApp costs, after the first year, roughly 2 Turkish lira, more or less. That's not a lot of money. Well, what if they raised it to 20 Turkish lira or 50 or 100 Turkish lira? People would probably stop using that app and they would move to another free app. Are there any other ways you could monetize 500 million people who send hundreds of messages a day? Yes. It's probably not app purchase. Could it be advertising? Could it be data analytics? Could it be a premium version of WhatsApp that includes voice, an over-the-top voice solution, similar to what we see with Skype, for instance? Absolutely. I don't know. I shouldn't touch my microphone. I don't know the exact answer to that, but when you look at the very large number of users that mobile instant messaging have, when you look at their engagement, we think this is something that certainly is, even though the dollar value today is small, it doesn't mean the dollar value, if you look at the entire picture, might not be larger.
Let me summarize. Şimdi phabletlerden akıllı telefonların fonksiyonlarına geçtik. Tabii temel konuşma ve mesajlaşma fonksiyonları da aslında da geri planda kaldı gibi bir izlenim var, herkeste var. Ancak özellikle text message, SMS pazarının parasal büyüklüğünü koruyacağı tahmininde bulunuyor Deloitte raporu. Buna mukabil onun rakibi gibi görülebilecek olan anlık mesajlaşma uygulamaları ise gönderilen mesaj sayısı bakımından neredeyse öbürünün 10 katı, ancak yarattığı ekonomi açısından da onun çok altında olduğu yorumunu yapıyor. Tabii bu da başka bir soruyu hemen getiriyor. O zaman Facebook 3 milyar doları seçenekli, opsiyonel olmak üzere 19 milyar doları WhatsApp'i satın almak için neden harcadı? Tabii hani hepimizin beklediği cevabı veriyor. Bizim de aklımıza gelen şeyler bunlar tabii ki. WhatsApp'in üzerinden, mesajlaşma üzerinden kazanılan bir paradan bahsetmiyoruz burada. Facebook'un yaratılan datayı kullanmak, aplikasyon içinden satışlar yapmak ve hedef kitlesini daha netleştirmek, bunlar üzerinden de odaklı pazarlama faaliyetleri yürütmek için kullanacak ki bunun değeri de oldukça büyük diyor Duncan. Okay,
Do we have questions from online?
I haven't checked for the last 10 minutes. I will check now. But meantime, I want to ask you about your opinions about the Internet of Things. Okay. The smart glasses and watches, they're also things. But are there any exciting points that you want to make?
Internet of Things was not one of our predictions for this year. Why? The market's really small. The Internet of Things, it looks like, so we actually made an Internet of Things prediction 5 years ago. It didn't come true.
Yeah, I saw it in Mobile World Congress.
Yeah, so it takes, we think Internet of Things is a very interesting market, but it's not from a hardware perspective. From a hardware perspective, it's not as big as we would have thought. It's a lot of 8-cent devices. I don't have a slide for Internet of Things. It's a lot of 8-cent devices, not a lot of $800 devices. So it's very hard to get to the billions of dollars in the Internet of Things. That's the hardware. Then there's the services. The idea was that we would be connecting all of these devices over cellular, over mobile frequencies. And that's not happening either. There's not a lot of Internet of Things revenue for the mobile operators. Instead, most of the traffic from the Internet of Things is going over Wi-Fi, and that's free. So the dollar size of the Internet of Things is significantly smaller. Now, I put this up on screen. We're going to need to wrap up in a minute, but
but do you believe that it will stay that way?
Yes.
I mean,
the dollar value of Internet of Things is the value of the services around Internet of Things may be big, but the dollar value of the hardware and the connectivity stays fairly small.
Okay, then let's wrap up.
Yeah.
Duncan Stewart, Deloitte raporu, Ocak'ta yayınlanan Deloitte raporunu bize anlattı. Sorularımızı da cevapladı. Bugünkü canlı yayınımızı da burada sonlandıralım. Videosunu da hemen canlı yayından sonra Webrazi'de bulacaksınız. Hoşçakalın, görüşürüz.